The job of a witch in folklore is to curse. However, in most stories, that doesn't seem to end well for the witch. Most witches get foiled by the layman, but every once in a while, a witch meets her match from another magical practitioner. Conjurers, pellars, and cunning folk are known for their talent to undo witchcraft. Folkloric witches straddle these lines comfortably. They don't mind undoing a curse just as fast as they'd cast it. More than once in folktales, the lines between magical practitioners and witches are blurred. Folkloric witches keep this tradition alive. Countercursing works differently from other forms of magic involving people. In curse work, attaining someone's personal concerns gives a spell, the curse, a lot of power. Cursing someone connects the witch to the person, meaning that there is no need for personal concerns of the witch themselves to send it back. When you, as a witch, send a curse, you run the risk of having a counter curse used. Curses should be thought through for a number of reasons, and the risk of counter cursing is one of them. Countercursing is often very detailed in folklore, often because folklore acts as a tool to teach some kind of lesson. The lesson in this case being, one day you'll piss off a witch and you better know what to do about it. So here, you'll find some tailored countercursing spells drawn from the folklore. To harm a witch who has cursed you, and undo the curse in the process, you first locate whatever has been cursed. If it's cattle or an individual, clip some of that person's hair and burn it with a pinch of sulfur. If it's dairy, you'll take the milk or butter and heat it in a pan. You then violently whip the milk with a devil's club. This will reverse the hex and send the damage back on the one who sent it to you. The key elements to take away here is the influence of fire and thorns on the cursed item. If you have been having some minor bad luck and think someone may have given you the evil eye, you can try the following to remove it. Speak the names of the Holy Trinity. Put your pockets inside out, wrap a piece of silver and place it on your person, or draw a ring around yourself. Flipping pockets is an old folk custom to undo the illusionary influence of good neighbours in Ireland and Scotland. To prevent something from being witched, you can put brass in it somehow. Brass has the curious property of being immune to witchcraft, and the brass itself does not need to be large. A brass screw was said to prevent guns from being witched. Using a witch bottle to send a curse back to its sender. Put nail clippings, hair, urine and straight pins into a bottle. Originally, place it under a burning fire and light 3 white candles in the name of the Father, Son and Holy Ghost. Don't allow anyone to enter the home for 3 days following. This is to ensure that the witch does not come back to recurse the family. To prevent witches or nasty spirits from entering a home, place a bowl of rice or any grain by the front door. In folklore, witches and spirits are compelled to count anything placed in front of them. This supposedly keeps the intruder trapped outside until the sun rises and sends the spirit back to where it came from. If a witch is preventing you from moving forward, use divination to determine who the witch is. For this kind of naming ritual, you may choose to do a Bible and key approach. Once determined, either obtain an image of the witch or make one. If the name cannot be determined, it is best to make a clay doll. At either a crossroads or well-driven dirt road, dig a small grave for the image. Bury it with ceremony and drive over the grave, never looking back. If the witch has been particularly atrocious, you may create multiple graves across a large area to prevent the witch from finding you. To break the magical influence of a witch over you using the witch ball, take your witch ball and roll it in a mix of boar hair or other aggressive animal, sulfur, astafoetida, and molasses. Go to a young tree. Folklore specifies a sapling whose spirit knows you. Speak to it. Get permission to peel a sizable bark. Draw an image of the witch. Borrowing the tree spirit's help in assuring the image connects with the witch. Lob the witch ball wrapped in the mixture at the image. Make sure that the bark is held in such a way that being hit by the witch ball will damage it. Leave the place without turning back. To make a witch's power decay, get a slab of meat, tie string around the slab, and at exactly midnight, hang it in a secluded area where it will not be disturbed. Name the meat for the witch who has cursed you, and command the witch's power to decay as the meat does. A variation, take the meat to a wooded area, and as the animals tear it to pieces over time, so will the witch's power be eaten and divided. In the most extreme cases of a witch bothering you, there is an option to kill a witch's power. Stories often tell us that witches die when they've been countered, but one story gives an insight that makes a bit more sense to this. In Butter, Witches and Thorns, a woman tells us that you don't literally kill the witch, but rather her power to witch will be dead, and she can't never do you no more devilment. Take your devil's club if you believe yourself to have been cursed. If your home has been cursed, get some dirt from your yard and mix it with the ashes of your own hair and beat it mercilessly with the devil's club. This will kill a witch's influence over you so long as you do not allow the witch to take anything from you. This should also exist as a warning that should you be counter-cursed, then you may take a hit to your own personal power. Other sorted counter curses and a bit of advice are: draw a ring around yourself, throw in a fire henbane, nightshade, sulfur, copperas, written charms worn around the neck. While counter cursing, do not allow anyone into your home and tell no one that you have done a counter curse. Preventing counter curses. If you have sent a curse to someone, you run the risk of counter curses. Not as frequently as you would have been 70 years ago when rural folks believed in witches a bit more, but it is still a risk. We should also not assume that all counter curses will be in spell form. The church does well with protecting their flock with their exorcisms and such. There are some practical and magical efforts that you can go to that would help avoid the costs of cursing. Curse wisely. Not every situation warrants a curse. If you're cursing every Sonova bitch who cuts you off in traffic, you are increasing your odds of counter cursing simply by creating more opportunity for the counter curses to take place. Attempting to curse another magical practitioner is a massive risk compared to cursing an average Joe racist neighbor or harmful ex. On more than one occasion, magical practitioners have gone back and forth for years at a time in what's commonly called a witch war, and is normally a waste of time and energy. Everyone has their personal ethics about cursing. For us, cursing normally takes the form of last resort. It has to be a really calculated move to get to the point where a curse happens, and only when someone's safety or security is in jeopardy. Set limits. Don't allow a curse to go on till the end of days. Give the curse and your spirits a limit. Say, they are cursed until they can no longer harm me, or until they give me back the money they owe me. Whatever it is, just place a cutoff for it. Curses take a lot of effort on your part and your spirit's part, so set boundaries. Enlist the help of spirits. This goes without saying, but if you are the only one working a curse, then you are the only target for a counter curse. Spiritual assistance spreads the love and can potentially hide you completely from countermeasures. Use witch balls. When made well and guided by spirits, the effect of a witch ball is difficult to undo. This may be for a number of reasons. For instance, the division of influence on the witch ball. These witch balls are made with other witches. Counter curses are intended to send a curse back to the caster. If the counter curse doesn't have an exact target to send back to, it dissipates. Witchballs are also inherently powerful tools, imbued with the influences of other witches and the witch father himself. That kind of kick takes more than inside out pockets to undo. In the end, the law of counter-cursing is a stark reminder that no curse is ever without consequence. Every hex cast carves the path back to its sender, and every act of malice risks awakening something stronger in return. Folklore warns us that witches may win battles, but they can just as easily be undone by their own power turned against them. To curse is to gamble with your own spirit, for the shadows you summon may one day come knocking at your door. You can learn more about folkloric witchcraft in our book, Southern Cunning, written by Aaron Oberon, who also provided the words for this video. Southern Cunning is a journey through the folklore of the American South and a look at the power these stories hold for modern witches. Through the lens of folklore, animism, and bioregionalism, the book shows how to bring rituals in folklore into the modern day and presents a uniquely American approach to witchcraft born out of the land and practical application. It's available from Moonbooks Publishing. Thank you so much for watching. A special thank you to our members. You too can become a member and gain early access to videos just like this one. Just hit the join button for more details. Subscribe for weekly videos, ring the bell for notifications, and we will see you next time.